waited for.
No, you're supposed to hold on. Anyway, now we're live.
Great,
It
excellent.
never works out. It
Let's do
just
it again. Point at me again, and we'll cut this part out. Ladies and gents, this is a moment you've waited for. Comic Beat Insiders here, your favorite show. What's up, everybody? It's Jimmy Aquino, another Comic Beat Insider here, the podcast we started last year covering comics, TV, film. A lot of film, for sure. And this week we're doing The Greatest Showman, one of my favorite recent modern musicals. And as I said, I'm Jimmy Aquino with Comic News Insider, the weekly podcast covering comics, TV, film, and pop culture.
and I'm Heidi McDonald. I'm the editor-in-chief of The Beat at comicsbeat.com.
And back is the winning team of the State Fair, Erin.
Hello, nice to be back. Thank you to close out musical month. What a joy. So
Yes.
excited to be here.
Erin Crosby, and of course, Kerri Garbis. Hello, welcome back.
Thank you for finding me because I've been sitting here since we last ended the state fair.
Oh, cool. No, you can hit in meeting and then it stops. So that's how you do it. Yeah. Like they'll be back any minute now. Like the taxi driver in air or the taxi passenger in airplane. All right, guys. So this is we're gonna do The Greatest Showman. So for musicals month, I feel like we did like 2 older ones and 2 newer ones. Well, Superstars is kind of older, but it's still kind of
It's 50 years old,
yeah,
but sure.
It's relatively newer.
Modern.
But this is very, very modern. The 2017 American musical drama that was directed by Michael Greasy in his directorial debut, which a very interesting story there. He did commercials and music videos, and he directed a commercial. Hugh did. He's also an Aussie. And Hugh at the end was like, "You're really awesome. I get to get a really good vision. We should work together." And Mike was like, "Yeah, you know how many stars tell me that? Like at the end of a shoot, like George Clooney at the end of the commercial, like, yeah, we should work together." It never happens. So it ends up happening. Hugh calls him, has this project, and it was directorial debut, and they get a great vision, did a great job. And of course, it was written by Jenny Bix and Bill Condon, and it is with the music by Benji Pasek and Justin Paul, of course, of Dear Evan Hansen fame and some other dumb movie. They did Blah Blah Land, and sorry, hate it. And but this they redeemed themselves. I mean, not that they haven't redeemed themselves many times before over. But yeah, so this has a long journey how this came to film, and I can get into that. But I didn't see it in theaters when it first came out, but I kept hearing word of mouth, which is how it did so well. It never was at number 1, but it was very successful because people kept talking about it. So when it came on TV, I watched it, I think 5 times in a week when I first saw it. I was like, this is great. And I watch it all the time now. I've probably seen it 30 times. Anyway, so when was the first time you guys saw it?
Okay, so this is one of those Jimmy made me watch a movie. So I of course I knew about it. I mean, I've seen Hugh Jackman on stage in The Boy from Oz. And
nice.
We all know that he is, before he was Wolverine, he actually was better known as a song and dance.
Curly.
He was Curly.
That's how he got found. Yeah.
That's right, which was subsequently put on film. So I'm certainly had no objection to it. So I watched this. This is one of the rare movies that I've watched a couple times because I know Jimmy just obsessively sits there watching it over and over again, which I don't get. But whenever we do a movie,
it's called obsessive compulsive.
Yes. So, but I've watched this twice. Because the first time I was drinking a little, so and I enjoyed it the first time. I will say it's not one of my all-time favorites, but very enjoyable. I have a little bit of a connection to Barnum, P.T. Barnum, which I'll bring up
nice.
a little bit as we go on. I was just, I think overall just really nice to see like a real contemporary musical, a movie. Like they don't explain why they're singing, they just start singing.
Nope.
And it's great. And real musical stars like Zec Effron and Zendaya in it. Michelle Williams pulling her own weight, and of course Hugh Jackman. So a lot of fun.
Awesome. Erin?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see it in the theater either. Yeah, I was kind of late to the game, and same kind of thing, Jimmy. I'd been hearing a lot, and I got to be honest, I can be a little bit of an asshole. So I was, a little reluctant where I was like, fine, I'll watch it. And so it was kind of one of those days where it was finally, I think, probably on HBO or something where I could finally watch it for free or something. And so I finally clicked on it one day in one afternoon, just as like a background. I was busy with my day. And then, of course, I got sucked in and I was like, okay, it wasn't, I'm gonna be the same. It's not my favorite,
Mhm.
but
Sure.
but I like it, and I like it more than the first time I saw it. So
yeah.
I think like I think I've seen it probably 5 times at this point, and
That's
I
how many
like
times
it.
I saw it this week.
Oh, I did not have time for that this week. I can't. But I like it much more now than I did the first time. I think the first time I just kind of had that critical eye and ear instead of like just enjoying it. Now I'm like, oh, well, this is just a blast. It's an unapologetic, splashy
Yep.
musical. And I'm like, I should be celebrating this. This is so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. Kerri?
I too did not see it in the movie theater.
Yeah, no
and
way.
I met with a lot of like, what, you haven't seen this movie yet? And I,
Same.
and so like Erin, when that happens, I'm like, now too many people love it and there's too many high expectations.
We have
Like
to
this,
resist it.
that was kind of me with Rent, honestly, back in the day. Like everyone's like, oh my God, it's so good, and then you go in with this.
You mean the stage show, of course.
Yes, of course.
Not the movie. Yes.
No, that was a
We
very
will not
different
talk
topic.
about that
We
movie.
won't talk.
Right. No. So I
Old for
too,
rent. Anyway.
I probably paid for, in fact, I think we bought it on, Fios or whatever I have. And so I have seen it at least 7 times.
Nice.
I have a 7-year-old who also really loves it. So we watch
Excellent.
it together. We sing the song. She has her favorite scenes. I really love it. And yet I also have some very strong opinions about certain moments that I want to discuss.
Yes. I love it, but there are some little nitpicks I have about it too.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, it was 7 years in the making. I think it was like someone approached Jackman about it, then he really tried to get it made, and this wasn't happening. But then they approached PMP, as I'm going to call them, Pasek and Paul, before La La Land, before Evan. They were nobodies, and they had them sort of like developing it as well. It ended up grossing $435 million worldwide, the 5th highest grossing live action musical of all time, 14th highest grossing film that never reached first place at the American box office. That's how strong the word of mouth was. One Golden
This is
Globe.
what I don't understand. People will pass on movie musicals, but look how much money they make.
Yeah.
They are huge successes. When you make a
Absolutely.
movie musical, people will show up.
Yeah, everyone, even people that hate musicals. Like I saw some video about some guy talking about like, I'm not really a musical guy, but I love this film. I'm like, you like musicals? Calm down.
Everybody
Yeah,
does.
and I mean,
everyone loves musicals.
And
Yes,
when you
it's true.
look at the success of the Disney films that are musicals, which are musicals, period,
Yes, they are,
and get turned into very successful stage musicals and are being remade as musicals, it's like these movies are not popular despite the fact that they have incredibly catchy tunes with great singing. It's why people like them. Like,
well,
hey, the Black Cauldron, anyone? Yeah.
Well, for right now, maybe we'll talk about it later, but the one thing that's been ruining the last few weeks, all the music of The Greatest Showman for me, is it's all over TikTok. Like it is, you guys, it is used for little videos of like anything you ever want and ever need. People make these melodramatic things on TikTok to that, probably thousands, millions a day.
They're not alone.
Have a TikTok. No, but they have a TikTok challenge where they're doing the dance bit where they're all in the pub, that bar scene.
Oh,
so everyone learns that dance and puts themselves on TikTok doing it. So I've been watching that now for weeks, and now I was like, I'm a little burned out.
To me, this movie, I mean, the songs have a real, like,
the songs are bangers.
They're all bangers.
Every song is like,
the reason why I saw it twice was because I was visiting. I'm in a pod with my neighbor, and we were, hanging out and picking a movie, and then I said, I got to watch The Greatest Showman, and she said, oh, there's a song from that they always play at my Soul Cycle class, and it's This Is Me, which apparently is a Soul Cycle classic, but
I get it.
These songs are
when the sharpest words want to put you down. Yeah, you're getting into
inevitable.
It,
They are.
If I was in a Soul Cycle class and they started playing that, I would have to stop and just cry. Like I think
I mean, there's a lot of meaning behind that song. Come on.
Exactly. I got mad because I was at a Pure Bar class once, and it was when the new Hamilton remix album came out,
Yeah.
and they played Kelly Clarkson
Oh my
singing
God.
"It's Quiet Uptown."
How can you not
and
cry
it's
when that
during the
song
warm
plays?
down? And
Like-
it's during warm down, so they turn lights down, and I was like, I burst into tears, and I had to
Yeah.
go talk to the instructor. I was like, you
Same.
have to take that off a playlist. This is unacceptable behavior. Do you have any idea what that song's about? She's like,
Yeah.
no. I was like,
Yeah.
come on.
But also Kelly singing it. My God, it's like I'd be on the subway and like playing the mixtape, and I forget that song's coming up, and I'm just like,
I know.
God damn it, son of a bitch. You know,
I
you're
just,
like,
I just like the visual of like Erin huddled in the corner in like child's pose, with those like Pure Bar socks on.
Yeah.
And you're like
it.
wiping away your
Nice.
tears with them.
I was crying and angry crying. Like it was
Nice, yeah.
like
Yeah.
like how dare they
Like,
make
how
me feel like
dare
in
you.
class.
I've already sweated out enough emotion.
Yeah.
So this movie is about, of course, P.T.
Exactly.
Barnum, and they play fast and loose. This is not a biography. People,
hold up.
it is a representation. It is
fast and
inspired by his life.
So I want to just say, so when I said I had a connection is like when I was a kid, I grew up very little kid in Fairfield, Connecticut, which is next door to Bridgeport, where we went all the time, which is where this, should be called Barnum Town, because he's the king of Bridgeport. It's the site of the P.T. Barnum Museum.
Yep.
And this was a place where I went as a kid, and
Nice.
saw, but it was a little flim-flammy, even then
which
as a
is
child.
Barnum.
yeah, which is Barnum to a T. But I mean, this movie is loosely inspired by events that happened in P.T.
Not a
Barnum's life.
biography.
That's it.
At all.
Like
at all.
Right.
A lot of it didn't happen.
A lot of it didn't happen the same order, not the same age.
Which I was fine with, because Hamilton was similar too. Hamilton was like not fat. There's some facts in Hamilton, but it's fast and loose with history. And this is like, okay, we're representing this guy who like changed entertainment in the 1800s, the way we looked at it, the way it was done. In real life, did he have some really bad practices? Absolutely. He had some awful things he did, where he like basically sort of almost enslaved some of his employees in a sense. I mean, my God, Tom Thumb was since he was 4 years old, and grew up in it. And same with I think even the Bearded Lady was like 4 years old when she joined, because she was born with the hair grew by the time she was 5. She had like a mustache and sideburns. So this is not his life. This is a representation inspired by his life. So
just to jump in, I mean, I'm sure we're all going to talk about this, but in real life, he was a real shit. Okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that they did turn this into a more representative and, more uplifting story is I think it's A-okay. So
yeah. Well, I mean, we can go back to the show I did when I was young, Barnum, which is a musical Barnum. I was General Tom Thumb. I'll have to look for a picture of that while we're talking. I'll find one. I'm General Thumb, just come to town, a Yankee Doodle dandy, and bigger isn't better, smaller. But yeah, that has some great music. There is a sucker about every minute, but that too was also a representation of his life. It probably got a little more accurate in some of it. I don't remember much of it, but that too.
I will say
awesome.
though, I think his life is interesting, and I would love for someone to do like a really good like biopic, like a real one. I think that would be fascinating. I would definitely be down for that.
This
like a real story.
First of all, Jimmy, I just learned something about you, which is shocking since we've been friends for 7
You never knew I was Tom Thumb?
No. But so Barnum, do we want to go there? So Barnum's got this grit about it, right? There's just like this like dirty film in it, and not like movie film, but like there's just like a base of grit in it. And then this movie, which is it's just a totally different style. It's just like highly polished. I think the smart watcher knows that you're not getting the real story. There's no grit in it. There's no dirty side. It's like
all clean. Yeah,
it's all up here, and it's very fantasy like, and I think the music really supports that, and you can buy into it. That's why I enjoyed it so much. And you buy into the fantasy of the whole thing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. It's like does it gloss over the story? Yes, absolutely. And that's some people had issues with that. I understand that. But again, it's not like and also like I'm it took such a while to get made, and as much as I hated La La Land, at least it led to this. So because the success of that certainly helped with this. But also there was do you everyone ever remember the Greatest Show on Earth, that movie?
Yes.
Charlton Heston, but one of my
Oh,
favorites. Betty
hello.
Hutton, Jimmy Stewart. Go
I
ahead, Graham.
love that movie. It's one of the best
Yeah.
really awful movies ever
Yes,
made.
I love it. My
Like it
girl
is
Gloria Graham's
so
in it.
stupid and so like dumb and yet perfect. It's just so perfect.
Yeah, I
Especially
love
when
it.
he's spinning and his teeth, he's holding on. Yeah.
But yeah, so there's been about the circus. There's been several stories like this, but here we are with the Greatest Showman, which a representation. Again, we've established that. Okay, so with the director Michael Gray, I think now the songs we established, everyone a banger, an earworm. We all love it. A tune, as they say. Um, but I think the direction and the choreography get sort of put on the side, and they should not be, because I think it was so well directed and the choreography is incredible.
Yeah.
Some of the scenes is like, oh my god, the cinematography and just the shots they take, these great little moments. So I'm like, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's yeah, the director and choreography should get just as much love as the music.
I think the choreography is fantastic.
Right.
And I love how it's expressed individually by a lot of people, and then how it is supported by other things. Like there's choreography going on behind the choreography.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Who choreographed it? Sorry.
It is there's a few. There was a main choreographer.
Ashley
Ashley
Wallen.
What is it?
Wallen.
Wally, yes, yeah. And there was a couple other, like there's a guy named Cloud. He choreographed the bar scene. He's actually the bartender in the bar scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's Martha Nichols was another one, and Shannon helps. Well, yeah. So there was a few of them, but Ashley was the main one. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's very I think even with all that, I mean, it's just quite collaborative. You know, the score is by different composers, not the song, the songwriters. And it's a very, very much a modern movie in that, it's got all these different people involved in it, and when it comes out is a very cohesive. And I mean, I know we're going to break down, and I mean, yes, to my eye, the choreography. I mean, I like that they had a dream ballet. And just what we were talking, we talked about that a lot last week with on the town, and it's pretty obvious it's not Michelle Williams and Hugh Jackman, and that's fine.
We don't care.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
It's fine. Absolutely fine. Just what a dream ballet is supposed to do, and I learned that from Erin in Musical Month.
Yeah. So Ashley, I just double checked because I wanted to make sure. Ashley Wallen, who is a dude, by the way.
Yeah. Yes.
Choreographed also Jingle Jangle.
If you which is delightful.
So we're watching
fun.
I love Jingle Jangle.
Same, and now that to me, like we were watching Jingle Jangle in December, whenever, and I'm like, oh, this choreography feels similar. It's this guy's got a style, and I was like, I wonder if it's the same guy's Greatest Showman person as Greatest Showman, and
look at you.
Indeed it is.
Indeed. Yes, you can certainly, sometimes you can tell, I didn't think about it, you can tell styles of choreography and direction even quite often when you're watching. But what's great about this, it starts off with with such a rousing number, The Greatest Show. Like this literal feet stomping number.
Yes.
And you're in. You're like,
yeah,
what's happening?
You're like, this is a musical about the circus, and you're in.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and what they're doing is, I think, taking you to that place of someone that's never seen anything like this before. So they're kind of stretching your imagination to go to a place of being so in awe of, oh my God, have you ever seen anything like this? Like just the big excitement. I think, in living in the generation we're all in, we're pretty jaded. Like we can, you know what I mean? We've seen everything.
Yeah. I can tell you, kid, there's a few things.
But like going back to a place where it's like, I've never seen anything like this. And just kind of, they take you to that place right away, which I think is fantastic.
This is where the buy-in happens, where they take you into this fantasy world and they let you know, okay, we're going to tell you this gritty story, but we're actually going to make it like lighter, fluffier, and shinier.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So we
Everyone's got neon colors on. All
Yeah.
the
the
everything
color
is,
palette
big
is
and
Oh, it's
cartoony.
great. It's
beautiful.
fantastic.
Color palette film is beautiful. Yeah, so we get a little as they're singing, like that. Then we get a little flashback into his childhood, and he's super poor. His dad, Barnum's poor. His dad's like a tailor for this rich family, and it's Charity, his future wife, is the young daughter, and Charity's dad is a dick, a theme we see throughout, and we see actually throughout most of the parents of the movie are
Most of
dicks.
the dads are dicks.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
total
Dicky Dad.
dickage.
Well,
Yeah.
his dad is played by Broadway actor Will Swenson,
Yes.
who's also married to the glorious Audra McDonald.
Nice. Yeah. Oh God. Amazing.
Royalty,
Yes,
theater
for sure.
royalty.
Mhm. And then we get into that sweet little song, "A Million Dreams," which unfortunately young P.T. Barnum is not singing himself. It is the young actor Ellis Rubin did not sing it. It was Ziv Zefman who uh, sang and I guess the young actress Skylar Dunn. I think that was her singing though.
By the way, I just want to jump in here. Note, great economical storytelling throughout this whole sequence. We learn
Yes.
exactly what we need to learn about young Barnum, where he comes from, what his relationship to his future wife's family is, what his relationship to her is. It's a classic. I want
Where his drive comes from.
where his drive comes
Yeah.
from, everything, just economical.
Yeah.
Again, we've seen the big glitzy. Now we're diving into the personal stories, and
Yeah.
we're in.
And
Yeah.
why he cares about the freak.
Oh, that was a little Disney touch.
Oh, sure, of course, absolutely. Especially with an apple, you're like.
But it was
sweet.
it was just what
Yeah.
you like.
Yeah.
We talk all the time in these musicals about how unrealistic it is and how you take these shortcuts to storytelling, and that's a perfect shortcut.
Well, especially doing this very glossy, bright version where it's not gritty, they're not going to tell you that he saw these people as people he could, make money off of. Instead of like he had like of course they're going to make it more that he was like he wanted to give them work, or instead of like, look at that freak, I'm going to make a pretty penny off them.
He respects them as people, is the theme, which isn't true in real life, but now we can.
Yeah. Maybe partially it might have been to some of them, maybe because I'm sure because you did sort of have a lot of them when they were young join the circus. Maybe he got very attached to some, others he definitely exploited, But yeah, but it is like we established right away, after his dad dies, he's living on the streets trying to survive. And again, like you said, the storytelling just sort of whether you want to call it, shortcuts or not, but like we find out like, well, how do you go from poor to successful? And all we hear is like, come join the railroad and like 3 meals a day. Like, okay, so and then the next thing we know, he's an adult going to collect.
Hey, we need to back up to one of my pain points. I need to back up in the moment. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Here's a pain point.
A pain point.
Yes. So he's living on the street, right? And he has no money, and yet he's writing to Charity at the boarding school. Where is he getting the money for the stamp?
He's not because
he put it into the mailman's
bag.
He put it in the mailman's bag.
I understand, but so then they don't check the stamp at the post office?
Gary, it's a musical.
Okay.
He slipped it in. He's maybe the mailman's just like, oh, look at this letter. Well, I'm here. I guess I'll give it to him.
I just like that.
I've got other mail to deliver.
Duly noted. Duly noted.
First of all, how dare you try to stop young love? And so, but what's interesting about it, actually in real life, they were kind of soulmates. They met. She was 21. They got married. She was 20. He was 19, and they were married for 44 years when she died. And then he married someone after 40 years younger.
40 years younger than him
after she died. But yeah, but they had they were seemed to be like true love, soulmates. So yeah, so they definitely were.
I read all up about him. He had a lot of ladies going on. He had a wife, but he also had a lot of women.
But not Jenny Lynn was not one of them.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah. So we established that now we're to Hugh. Who has come and again like this just such these little moments like before he becomes Hugh, when she gets taken off to the boarding school in the little PTs carrying the color fabrics, and they fall and they lay out to this beautiful rainbow of colors just beautifully rolled out. Like I just love little moments like that. It's really beautiful. Yeah, and that's throughout it all, so it's really nice. So then he grows up and he takes her away. They get married and they're poor.
A second pain point.
Yes. Okay, here we go.
Does
Okay,
it
start. How
bother-
many
okay,
of these are we gonna have?
I don't know. So I love Hugh Jackman. I've seen him live. I've
Doesn't,
seen
yeah.
him
Yeah.
right,
In
and
my
all
dreams,
reports
yes.
I've heard that of people who've worked with him on stage and on film, just a wonderful
Nicest,
human
yeah.
all around.
Yes.
Does anybody think maybe there should have been an interim actor in there? Like, is he not just pushing the envelope of the young kid?
Oh, and they
walking
gave
down
him the curly hair like it was gonna make him look
Yes.
younger. Yeah.
Yes. Like,
No.
does that bother
Eh.
anybody? Like,
So-
maybe.
So I thought about this, and that's a great point, Kerri, because I thought about it because Hugh Jackman looks his age.
He was
mean,
almost
he's
50
got
at the time, yeah.
he's pushing
But he was-
50, and that I appreciated that they didn't try to de-age him. Didn't
Yeah.
do any
Yeah.
CGI.
And
like
it's super
46
hot
at the time, I
50s.
think.
Like,
yeah.
But,
we're good. I mean,
Bar-
I'm good.
In real life, Barnum was 60 when he started the circus, so it's almost kind of like it's all make believe. But you know what? I liked going back to White Christmas. We talked about how Bing Crosby was way too old for Rosemary Clooney.
Yeah.
And so Fred Astaire is always too old. It's like I just took it as kind of a throwback. Like the
Yeah, it's
guy.
one of those things. Yeah, it takes 7 or 8 years to get your dream project up. Sometimes you age out of your own part and you just say fuck it.
Yeah.
Dude,
So true.
I mean,
absolutely.
you're like, I'm not giving it to anybody else at this point. Just
Yeah.
slap some makeup on me and a curly wig and let's just say I'm 20.
Yeah, and I mean, if you watch
Nothing
closely,
wrong.
like Hugh's dancing in here is pretty minimal. He's no hoofer in this
Well,
film,
sure.
and that's fine. That's fine.
Fine,
I
totally
mean,
fine.
he's great. He's great.
Absolutely.
He's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But Kerri, I'm loving your pain points.
Yeah.
I'm loving them.
Yeah.
Don't stop.
We have a few more to
Carrie's,
go.
you're giving me pain points. But anyway, but yeah, so we get to the adult singing Michelle Williams. Like, oh my God, her entrance is like, oh, she's so beautiful. My God,
Yes.
comes down the stairs. You're just like,
Michelle Williams is magic.
Yeah,
Like,
she really is.
She just has this presence, and she
really does.
completely disappears in every part
Yeah.
she does. It's unbelievable. Never once do I go, oh, there's Michelle Williams.
Mhm.
I believe whatever character she is telling me she is that day.
Yeah, and she's not the best singer in the world, but she has a really sweet quality to her voice, I think.
We're not going to talk about when she did Cabaret on Broadway in the last
I know,
revival.
I've
We're
heard.
gonna skip right
you
past.
guys- Have you guys seen Fosse Verdon?
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Twice.
Yeah. Is it
Amazing,
good?
yeah.
Is
It's
it
real good.
Oh, is it good?
Is it
It is.
good?
She is.
Is it good?
She
How dare
is
you?
So phenomenal.
She's amazing.
She's so phenomenal that, as I was watching each episode, I was like, there's not enough awards in the world to hand Michelle Williams
Yeah,
right now. for this.
she's insane. She's
Yeah.
how good she is.
All right, I'm definitely gonna watch that because
Yeah.
I'm a huge Bob Fosse fan.
Well, he's a jerk,
Verdon-
and
He's
he
a-
does not
he's
come
a
off well in
giant
Of
this.
course, he's
yeah.
horrible, but he's a great vision. He's a great artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who doesn't love Gwen Verdon? So and
Oh, I-
Michelle Williams.
Personally, I think the show should have just called Verdon. That's it, because he's a blip because she's the star. She's just the star.
I found the
Anyway,
picture. If I want to
next.
show you real quick. Sorry,
yeah.
Side note. I've been looking the whole time. My
Oh.
picture. Let me share a screen real quick.
Oh, I can't wait for this.
Oh wait. Share
Oh,
screen.
I need to
Please
share-
allow me. Yes, please allow me.
Sorry. Oh my God. Wait, no, not me. Share multiple participants. No, I
Yeah.
don't want to share my screen. Okay, there you go, Jimmy. Sorry.
All right. So
Come on.
can you see? Is it too small or is it big?
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
It's me.
Ah!
Yep.
Oh.
Bigger isn't better. Smaller isn't braver.
And that-
taller isn't
The
always
showgirl's
wise.
hair in all of its 80s glory is what?
Yep, that's me.
Wow.
Thumb. There you go. All right.
Oh,
Damn.
Anyway, sorry
my
for that.
God.
I was like looking for where I know it's here somewhere. So yeah, back to the Greatest Showman. Sorry for the interruption there. So Michelle again. I think she's a sweet quality to her voice. I'm fine with it not being the best voice in the world. and I think she sounds fine here. It's all good. And that rooftop scene is beautiful with the
Love it.
Yeah, it's
substitute
great.
dancers.
I mean, that's I think my favorite moment.
It's
Me
so
too.
like at the end when he lifts her, they dance and the sheets fly up too.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
nice.
Well, I mean,
And-
they're making their own magical world, and that's
Yeah.
what's exciting. That's what makes musical theater and musicals in general, like that's the magic they tap into. It's like, oh, we don't
Yeah.
have much, but we have this rooftop, and we're making the worlds that we want. It's
And
awesome.
those little daughters are so cute. Oh my
They're
God,
so
they're
cute.
adorable. They're so adorable. So we get to him gathering his oddities, as they are called, and we come to Tom Thumb first, who is Sam Humphries. Who Sam Humphries is in real life is a dwarf actor, and he was too tall because in real life he's 50 inches, and Tom Thumb was 39. So in that's why he's not in dance scenes. You see him at the end of scenes. They literally have him on his knees to do scenes to make him smaller than he is, and they also digitally altered his voice to make it sound deeper.
I feel he is very digitally altered. Like
Yeah.
it's very uncomfortable for me to watch.
Took me out a little bit. That took me out a bit.
Yeah, the voice
That's
voice
a pain
definitely took me
point.
out. Yeah, the voice took me out. Like it didn't need to. I guess they were going for humor with the voice that way, but it's like it just didn't work for me. I was like, yeah,
No.
I've heard him in interviews, his real voice. I'm like, it's fine. Let him talk how he sounds, and like obviously it wasn't him singing, at that one
Yeah,
point.
it's weird for that to be the thing they decide to be really accurate on.
Yeah,
Like,
I know that was strange.
like,
I was like, huh?
I like we can't just start pick and choose now. Like it's fine.
And then we get to bearded Lady Letty, played by the the astounding Kiala Settle.
Kiala. She's
Kiala, Jesus
incredible.
Tony nominated.
I'll just jump ahead and just say, as far as I'm concerned, this movie just being her and Zendaya is my all, is my everything. Like
Zendaya's great,
both of them in this movie. I mean, we'll talk more about Zendaya,
yeah.
but they're so perfect, and they're just fantastic.
Well, we meet Zendaya, and who is her brother? All you Watchmen fan will recognize him.
It's yeah. Now let me tell you, when I was watching this the first time, again, remember I'm with a friend and there's chitter chatter going on, and I missed the line where they say it's your brother. So and like
you thought there was a whole little love triangle going on.
If you miss that line, you think it's a love triangle. Let me tell you,
that's
a totally different dynamic.
It's a super important line. Again, the storytelling, you call it shortcuts, economical. It's very economical. It's just you say it and we're done. We established that, which I appreciate. But man, like watching it the first time, it's very different when I was like, man, how is she? She's stepping out on Yaya? I mean, okay, I get it, but how come he doesn't just, kick
punch him in the
Zac
face?
Efron in the balls? How come she just left him like that? Man, they don't. Yeah, so
that's a different movie. So
mystery solved. Mystery solved.
So
but yeah,
then
very important line.
Then we get another great number, "Come Alive." Happens, which is cool. Which is the
okay. Wait, I want to back up to when he's meeting all the people, right? They're coming in the office. Okay, one of my favorite moments, and I don't know why, is when like the dog boy or the wolf,
dog boy,
jumps up on the desk. I don't know why. That's
it's
like
great.
One of my favorite parts. I think because like when I was watching it, I was working out with CrossFit, and we work on box jumps.
Always back to working out.
Yes, of course. And I was like, oh, that's like the best box jump I'd ever seen. And so,
well, that dude is very athletic for sure. We see him doing flips all out through the film.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But it's so weird because he's so Hugh Jackman is so represented as so altruistic and meeting people, and then yet. And I thought it was really incongruent with like what was happening was when he's like, "How much do you weigh?" to the fat guy. I don't know
who's a big he's a big Broadway person too. I forgot his name. Yeah, he does Broadway. He's great. So he actually sings a lot in the show or in the movie. Yeah.
So he's like, "How much do you weigh?" And he says whatever, and then he whispers 500, and then he's like, and then he says it very loudly, right? Like 700 pounds or whatever.
750. Yeah.
So I thought it was really. Are they trying to show that he wasn't quite as altruistic as they're making him appear?
I think they're trying to show he's a showman. He's just like, he'll do anything to sell a ticket, almost anything to make things seem bigger than they are. Like in real life, he created Lindmania, like Jenny, like he created her success over here. No one knew like who's gonna go see a freaking opera singer? He created like she was the freaking Taylor Swift, Rihanna of her time because of how he did. So I think that's him
Well,
doing that, selling it. Yeah.
she was super well known in Europe.
Oh,
Jenny
sure,
Lind
but
was
nobody
And
knows.
brought her to the States.
right.
But also Americans were like,
Yeah.
I could go see a freaking opera singer. Are you kidding me? You know, it's like, but it became like where the common person was interested in her, not just the high society.
Well, I actually wonder then, because he gave
Mhm.
her so much, like she's the, the greatest singer in the world kind of
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
I wonder how good she actually was. Like, I wonder if she was just kind of like,
She
okay,
was- she
but
was
no one had
more-
heard her before or heard singing like that before. So they were like, oh, wow. I actually wonder. There's no recordings of her.
Well, she supposedly had like how many octaves? I don't know. And like, because she was big in Europe, and like Europe's a little more, I would say at the time, maybe even today, more artsy than America was. You know, back then it's certainly more into opera than America would have been at that time. So I would think that like she would have had that reputation in Europe if she wasn't good. You know what I mean? So at least that's what I think.
I think
I'm just judging by today's standards. Like if we like say there was a recording that existed of her voice, right?
Mhm.
I wonder if we would listen to it and go, she's fine. You know, like
Probably no. Today's world,
what I mean, because like I think it's come so long, to be called like the greatest singer in the world, and now we'd be like,
I mean,
right.
she's all right. I
right.
guess. I mean, I could sing better, but I mean, probably
she's no Lauren Allred, okay?
Yeah, true.
No Lauren Allred.
Kerri and Erin could probably sing better, but yeah, besides that, but yeah, to Kerri's point, I think it was because he's just a shuckster, and that's just what he does. He just like 5 feet tall. Nope, you're 7 feet tall. This is not, just like, oh, this. He wanted to find that I think you're Irish. It's something that would appeal to the public more. Like 500 is impressive, but 750, holy, and people are like, well, yeah, it looks like he could be 750. Well, I guess that guy's Irish until he has a weird Eastern European accent when he talks. But
I feel like most like the tattooed men and tattooed ladies, a lot of it was painted on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't
for
think
sure.
Right, and think about the time that there's no internet, like they can't go on and hear what a real right. So they can't find out somewhere else what a real Irish man sounds like. They're like, oh, Eastern European, Irish. What's the difference?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. So we then meet Zach Efron's character, Philip Carlisle, who's fictional, not a real person.
He's kind of Bailey, Bailey of Barnum.
I guess, sure, I guess a representation of Bailey. But he's a playwright, very successful one, but then at the same time, just not happy with his life. And then we get to this great number. So, but he's in high society. He knows the people, and Barnum knows that, and again, wants to use him. And he's like, well, you can get me in that door with those rich people and I'll make your life a little happier. And we get to the song, The Other Side. This is one of the greatest numbers in there, just the choreography alone. Again, the bartender, played by the assistant choreographer named Cloud, that's his name, Cloud, choreographed the scene. It is fucking brilliant. It's so well shot. They rehearse the fuck out of this when they talk about the tubs, because you watch it. They are passing glasses and bottles.
It's
like sliding them without looking where it's going. They had to practice that so many times. They broke so many glasses, they said, and but it is incredible the choreography in that, and the song is catchy too, of course.
The harmonies are great.
Yeah,
the harmonies are great in there.
And
yes, it is
great star turn for Zac Efron. Let's face it.
I mean, people get that.
I don't know how you've never seen this on TikTok. That people have a whole TikTok.
We don't watch the ticks or the talks, all right, Erin?
Listen, I got sucked into the TikTok world, and I'm screwed.
My cousin's trying to get me into it. I'm like, nope.
I'm gonna send you a couple though.
Yeah.
They have what they have is people filming themselves, and the second time I saw Greatest Showman, and it's just like they're on their couch, maybe they're eating some popcorn. The second time they're sitting up, and then the third time it says they're doing the full dance from that scene, and they have it memorized, and they're spitting in their living room doing the whole thing.
That's pretty great.
The people are like learning it, and it's so much fun.
It's not just a TikTok thing. This movie became the music, and it became such a phenomenon. The Olympics used it I think this is immediately.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you see it on shows.
Oh yeah, it's anthems. They're bangers.
They've made anthems. You're correct. Heidi's correct.
It also went through like all the circles of like young people auditioning, and they would. Yeah. So sorry, but because on my Facebook page, people will, since pandemic, especially before, people will post their like videos of like submissions for attention. And everyone would start doing This Is Me, but they're starting at a 10. Like they're already in tears. Every single time.
That's great.
And I'm
That's so
like, you're
great.
not going to book that. But it's
Yeah,
cute.
no, so stop singing the popular songs, everybody. They don't want you. But yeah, people forget
Oh,
like
annoying.
Zach was in High School Musical. He can blow. He's
Oh
got
yeah, but I mean I do
good singer.
think the fact that he has like kind of a nostalgia factor from being in the High School Musical films a
Yeah.
little bit. You know, obviously he has a huge following
Mhm.
from that. I mean, he's known as a musical actor,
Yeah.
and you know,
And then he went and became Ted Bundy and scared the
Yeah,
shit
yeah,
out
but I
of
mean,
Good
he's
actor.
So good in that.
He was
Yeah.
I think he's a really good
terrifying.
actor. I mean, that dude is like great singer, really good actor, fucking really good looking, in like insane shape all the time. I'm
Yeah.
just like, God damn, give us a little something, Jesus.
All right, put your man crush away. 'cause
Here
that-
I'm sorry, I
But
really
he really
enjoy me some Zach. I'm not gonna
he
lie.
really turned it around. Like
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
like Zac Efron a lot. I think
Yeah, I
you
do
know he could have had that opportunity, which I think a lot of people his age and you know a lot of people even in High School Musical.
Uh-oh.
oh, Erin
She
comes
froze.
out whenever she's about to have a pain
I
point.
know.
I know. Yeah.
Important
But
part.
no, Heidi, I think what
Yeah.
it did was.
But I think he got serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the point. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
got it. And then she froze.
What he did do though is because you saw him, you see, you know, High School Musical guy, like it legitimized him because he
Yes.
was doing it now as a grown up.
Yeah.
And you know, for me, I was
Well,
like, oh, he's got real talent. And then of course he made me shit my pants with Ted Bundy.
Well, what's really interesting is that, I mean, God, the scene, I just can't get enough to see. I sit there and watch and I analyze the choreography. I'm like, that fucking bartender guy, the choreographer is, God, what a great
It's
mind he had.
insane,
Like in the way they shot it, it's like,
Yeah.
holy
Oh,
cow,
it's
like
so good.
insane.
So good.
But what's interesting about Zac Efron's part is that I was going to get to this later, but I mentioned real quick is that Jeremy Jordan, as we all know, he actually he sang the workshop. He sang like sort of the demos for P&P because he knew them, and it was almost kind of hinted to him that he'd probably be Philip Carlisle in the film. And he was like kind of, so he sang in the workshops. There's a workshop which I think I sent you guys the links to the workshop, the final like workshop for the Fox execs. um Hugh Jackman, the day before, had like cancer removed from his nose and had like 80 stitches, and was told by his doctors, you can't sing or you'll
I mean,
pop
this
your
video
stitches.
came out like a year and a half before, like a year before the movie,
Yeah.
and it went
Yeah.
viral.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
magical.
It was so moving. Yeah. And so you see Jeremy Jordan singing there, and then Hugh takes over. But then I dug up a little more, and like and actually in those workshops, Jeremy sang the Philip Carlisle part because Zach wasn't cast yet. And so he was kind of convinced he was it. And like there's this video of him actually doing a show, Jeremy Jordan, where it's sort of tongue in cheek. You can tell he's probably a little still annoyed, where he's like, how I saved the Greatest Showman, but also lost it. Where he, like they called him in to do all these singing and he thought he had the part. And then Hugh stole his moment, singing his own song. But I got to say, I think Jeremy Jordan is a really good singer. I don't like her as an actor very much. I hate him. I mean, Smash is terrible, but I hated him in Smash. He was horrible. I didn't mind him in Supergirl, but I don't know. Anyway, Erin, you've frozen, so we're gonna wait for you to come back to tell us your point.
Kerri.
I think he was well,
okay.
I think
Erin, you're back. You're back, Erin.
You're sort of back.
Okay, that's so weird. I'm sitting in Brooklyn, not even in the country. I don't know why I'm like losing.
Yeah.
Like it's so strange. No, I was gonna say, Jimmy, I was totally with you. I was not the biggest Jeremy Jordan actor fan. I liked him as a singer, but I saw him in the one night only Lincoln Center concert of Parade playing lead.
And he was good.
And I walked out of there going, "Boy's got talent."
Okay.
I mean, wonderful.
I still don't know if I would have liked him in this role, but we won't know because we didn't.
I would not have liked him in the role.
I don't think I would have
Zac
either.
Efron was a better fit. You know what he could have done? He could have done young Barnum.
There you go.
Yes. He would have been perfect.
Fair enough.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Perfect.
Fine.
All right.
We'll give you that one. We'll give you that one. Fine.
Yeah.
So then we get to him like getting, all right, you're in 10%. Great. We'll make it happen. Takes him we flash to the circus. And there's that great slow-mo shot of Zendaya in the air and Zach staring at her. And it's just this beautiful shot. And he, like the rest of the audience, stops in their tracks when they see her. You're just like, she's incredible.
They figured out a way to really shoot Love at First Sight.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
They did.
absolutely.
They got it.
Oh,
They
what a great,
did.
what a great,
Yes.
yeah,
that's
what a great man. That's really good.
true.
So good.
Yes.
Wow, that's
But I
really
mean,
great.
she like if there ever, she had already been in the Spider-Man
Oh, she's been
Homecoming.
winning. She's been
Yeah,
winning awards
obviously
for
she was.
Euphoria.
Yeah, she hadn't been in Euphoria yet when this came
Oh,
out.
you're fair enough. You're
I'm
right.
just saying, she was known as a Disney, and everybody loved her in
Yeah.
Spider-Man. But this is such a
Yeah.
star-making role for
Yeah.
her. Like
Well,
she's
there's an interview with
she just
several.
blows me away. Everything she
Yeah.
does is like it's very, I'll say this, very, very, very contemporary. I mean, she's young and she just brings this energy to it that it really just hit me.
She's perfect. And like Jackman said in an interview, he was like, I told her, and I saw it when I first saw her. He's like, she is going to be the biggest star of her generation if she chooses to be. He says, and I'm like, wow, that's I
So-
completely agree.
In the original Circus, was there diversity that early? Like,
I don't think so.
I mean,
Maybe,
you know,
maybe
You know what?
with the oddities. Maybe with the oddities there might have been.
I think I don't think diversity was a question. I mean, these people were already, disabled,
Outcasts.
considered freaks.
Yeah.
And so if you were what the color of your skin was, like, if you, I
The
mean,
circus
Chang
was
and
for you
Eng,
then, yeah.
like the Siamese twins.
yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
who, by the way, like we see them in all the background.
Those guys are
here,
awesome. I love them.
And they do some musical flips that are incredible.
They do some splits and flips,
but they never talk about them. And the reason
No,
why is that in real life, Chang and Eng had been so famous, they actually came out of retirement to join the Barnum. So, they were a little older. They already had 9 kids each, literally.
My God.
And so they, had very active.
Yeah.
Why they're so famous, I guess.
I think you say that very active libidos. I'm like, okay, yes.
Yes, like everybody can join in.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
They were
but yeah,
really
like I
good.
think it's funny that they're so famous and so well known.
Yeah.
They just are kind of background.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I mean, I get that I get that they had to like focus on certain characters, and so the movie would be too long. But yeah, I was, of course, being.
I think they would have
Asian descent. I would have liked to see a little more.
I think they would have been a distraction, to be honest. I think the fact that
it wasn't their story.
Yeah,
same. Yeah, for sure. So that sets up that great little love story, the slow love story of them falling in love.
Yeah, with her husband, man, she's just not. Wow, just stepping out on her husband.
I was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what? I'm like,
oh, shit.
I'm like, what? Okay, see, now I'm confused. I'm like, what? So
that would have been really jarring. I feel for you.
Yeah. So we get to meet Queen Victoria, who, anyone recognize the actress there?
Yes.
She's Sheila the She-Wolf from Glow. The same actress. Yeah. Who is her real name? I'm sorry, I should give her real name. Gail Rankin. Yeah. So she was the queen, and that actually really happened. They met Queen Victoria, and but the queen, while she seemed bemused by Tom Thumb and his comment, who of course he probably didn't really say that to her, but she apparently was both amused and saddened by like Tom Thumb and some of the other oddities there. But at that party, they meet the incredible Jenny Lind, the beautiful Rebecca Ferguson.
And again, like economical storytelling and just keeping the story moving. There's a lot of like, let's say for the sake of argument that this is a biopic, which it isn't. But, there's often a lull in a biopic, especially if it's a musical, because you got to set up the next song and maybe they just go into it in this, incredibly obvious or awkward way. I just love how they keep it moving. It's everything. Is, like I said, if you miss that one, when you miss that one line, it changed the whole movie for
like,
me.
what the hell?
Yeah. So you can't, you have everything is just there. And, let's great real thing that happened. Queen Victoria, bam, let's cut to Jenny Lind.
Yeah. Which here's one of my pain points. Okay, Kerri, for you.
Thank you.
So, Rebecca Ferguson, great actress. I guess I can understand why, and she didn't sing the role. We all know Lauren Allred sang the role. The voice, did she win the voice that year? I can't remember. But Lauren had sung the demo track for this, and wasn't originally, I think Rebecca's a singer, and I heard one story where like something about like she heard Lauren sing, like, I can't sing this, and so that's why I decided. Who knows how much power she has? Sorry, Kerri.
Okay. So I had a friend in the movie.
Yes.
Was in that
so did
scene.
we. Okay, good.
Oh, Oh.
We have our friend Randall Trang, who unfortunately can't join us today. But yeah, anyway.
So I texted her earlier and I was like, what do you want to, I'm like, I'm going to talk about this. What do you want to,
Ooh,
what do you want to talk about?
insider.
So she's in the scene where she makes her American debut. And so we all know she didn't sing it in the movie,
Right.
but she did sing it during the filming.
Really?
Which is why
Yes.
it's the best lip sync you've ever seen in your life.
She sells
And
it.
and my friend in the movie, Rachel DeBenedette has done a bazillion, very talented woman, done a bazillion Broadway shows anyway. So Rachel said, you know, she sang her heart out.
Oh, nice.
It was like, she sang her heart out 45 times.
Yeah, sure.
And so it's been reported to me that it may not have been the prettiest by the time we got to the end of the day, but
sure.
I used to sing Ava Perón 8 times a week, and I couldn't probably sing that 45 times in one day. I'd
right
be
now.
exhausted.
Go ahead.
Never
enough. No, sing Ava Perón 45. No. But yeah, so that was what bothered me, is that like Rebecca's a great actress and she sold the shit out of that song. Absolutely. Never enough, which we get to never enough. But I was just like, in this day and age, you can't find somebody that could do both.
Especially maybe when these are people coming from the Broadway community.
Not Lauren Allred. Maybe she's not an actress, but there could have been somebody else. Maybe. I mean, it's tough to hear someone else maybe besides Lauren, but it's like.
I mean, Jessica Voss could have sung the shit out of that.
There you go.
And acted it.
Apparently,
and
yeah.
She does Alphaba 8 times a week.
There you go. Exactly. And this song, Never Enough. God damn it. Oh, it is so good. And Lauren Allred, of course, belts the shit out of it.
It's such an amazing song.
It's musically one of my favorite songs. I love the way they shot it. So there's a whole thing where it's like the first lyrics trying to hold my breath and the music stops. You're like, oh, it's like you're holding your breath. I get it. You know, and it's like, it's so great. And I love little clever wordplay. This is my favorite. Towers of gold are still too little. These hands could hold the world and it'll. I'm like, that is brilliant. I love that.
There's some great.
I love that.
I mean, I bought in to, like, the first time I saw this movie, you know, a lot of distractions and misunderstandings. You know, the second time I'm watching it, very wrapped to, you know, for this, and you know, I bought in a lot more the second time, because the first time I was like, oh, why didn't they have Jenny Ling sing opera? That would have been nice. But the second time, I really appreciated that they were just making this,
because this is like a Hamilton thing,
right? It's like Hamilton, and they're making it for today's audience, and
there's hip hop dancing throughout. You know, it's like,
and it's not. You know, they don't need to reference real things that happened. It's fine without anything real that happened. But I appreciated the milieu of this song, and just, I mean, it's a great song, obviously, you know, catchy as hell. And, you know, and she does mime the hell out of it.
Does.
You know,
it's one of the best lip syncs I've ever seen on a movie.
I agree.
Ever.
And
beautifully shot.
This whole thing that we're setting up between Jenny Lind and P.T. Barnum.
Okay. Here's my main pain point.
Oh, okay.
This is it. This is bullshit. Not just because it didn't happen in real life, but you made this incredibly powerful, popular woman fall in love and then get mad when he doesn't reciprocate. I'm like, and then gets revenge. I'm like, that is bullshit. That really annoyed me. That's the only part of the film that I just absolutely didn't like, and during the scene, while it is beautifully shot, we see these things like when she says these hands will hold, you see suddenly Philip grabs Zendaya's hand. You're like, oh my God. And then he lets go at the same line later. You're like, oh my God.
That was so great. That was
so
that little hand holding. Like the, you know, shortcut romance. Loved it.
But then the shots of Cherry, which in Barnum they call her, because her nickname was Cherry, but they never do it here, weirdly. So Charity, noticing PT, noticing, I'm like, okay, calm down. She was not like, she was enjoying the performance. She is not looking at her husband becoming enamored with, you know, he's not, first of all, he's not enamored. He's just like, oh my God, she can sing. Holy shit, I hit the jackpot.
She can't see backstage either.
Yeah,
she's
exactly.
In the
Yes,
audience.
I know. I was like,
him.
come on. I'm like, come on. We all know the rule. If you can see them, they can see you. So step back. So step back. Come on, guys. So that was my main pain point of this film is the Jenny Lind fake romance bullshit. I was like, No, never happened. Whatever.
That did not bother me because it was something like these very wealthy people, these the unwoke rich cause all his pain, all his problems, and then Zac Efron, who is rich but highly evolved, somehow helps solve a lot of his problems. I don't know.
Yeah. I
And
hear you.
also like that didn't bother me when Charity sees him seeing her and knows they're gonna have an affair, because like Jimmy, I mean, good for you, but clearly you've never been cheated on, because you can smell that from a mile away.
You know from a glance when there's that
see it.
fire, that sizzle in the air. You're like, oh, they're doing
see it coming.
But my main point was what Erin said was like she could see him backstage.
Well, you don't need to, Jimmy. Hello. Yeah, she Michelle Williams knew. Oh.
No, I hear you. Yeah, I've been the cheater and the cheaty, unfortunately.
No.
So yes, absolutely.
I went to see
I cheated on Kerri all the time. But anyway,
all the time.
Sorry.
I went to see
With her
a
consent.
friend of mine. I cannot tell you who it is. In a regional theater production of South Pacific.
I know it is.
And I'm watching two actors on stage who aren't supposed to be involved romantically in the show. And I'm watching them and I'm
Showmance.
like, oh my God. Like you could see they're doing a scene and they're not even like, they're not the ones in love. She's supposed to be in love with someone else. And I remember watching the show and being like, this something doesn't feel right. And going, after the show, going to my friend and being like, I'm sorry, are you in?
Are you hitting that?
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Because you can smell it. So
you can. When it's in the air, man, you can smell it.
Yeah. That's true. It's true. Fair enough. So song beautiful. Scene beautifully shot, but the storyline part of that anyway. So we get to the
the next part is
we get to the party, and then the whole thing, and like the dad is a dick again, all the stuff, and then Charity leaves because she's pissed because she's all sorts of stuff going on. She knows, as he said, she could smell it, and then the oddities, as I guess we'll call them, is what they call themselves, want to get in the party, and Barnum's like, no, you got a show, get out. Like he claims it's because they got a show, but he also is like, no, you can't mix with these people,
snobs,
you can't mix with these people.
Yeah.
So and that turns, and this is where it seems to be making a point, like, oh, I don't feel they earned that moment to sing "This Is Me" yet. It's like, I'm like, what are you talking? Like they set up the entire movie that they've been shunned their whole lives and they've been outcasts, and the very first time they appear in the circus, you see Keala's character so nervous to even get on the stage, which in real life is the same thing. And it's like, wow. So I think they did. And so here's the script. "This Is Me," of course, is the anthem. Everyone knows it. There's some great history behind the song. So the movie had not been greenlit yet. And so they had a few songs out. They're trying to figure out, and they actually originally had a song for Tom Thumb, which I think was on a ukulele. They were like,
I would not have liked that.
No, exactly. Especially they would have probably obviously gotten somebody else to sing it. But it's like, but saying sort of the same thing, but just not really getting the message across, they felt. So that's when they approached the director, Michael Gracie, and we're like, what if we had, like, because Letty, the bitter lady, has a few lines here and there. She's a character, but what if we had her be the one? And Keala's obviously an amazing singer. They're like, give it a shot. So on their way to the pitch meeting, on the plane, they fucking wrote the song in 5 hours.
Amazing.
And it became
like
this giant thing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And also Shoshana Bean, who we all know, sang the demo. And Keala is so humble, all the time. She was like, she didn't want to sing it. Because when P&P played it for her, she was like, get Shoshana, I'll sing backup. Like, that's her singing. Like, Shoshana's amazing, which we all know Shoshana's incredible. And it's like, and they're like, no, you're the character. You got to sing it. Because she was like, okay, I guess. And you see in that video, that other one I sent you of the workshop of her nervously singing it, because the intro is like, she didn't want to come from behind the music stand. She was a little nervous about it. They even at one point, they weren't sure if she could. They're like, do you want someone to sing with? She goes, no, I can do it. I'm just a little okay. And then you see her almost immediately like get out of that music and just get into it. She starts tearing up. She turns to Hugh, who grabs her hand, and I'm like, God, this is so beautiful.
I know. That video is incredible.
Oh my God, of her wailing. And Cynthia Erivo's there singing for Zendaya's part. It's like, oh my God. But yeah, so my God, Keala, owns this song, and
Yeah.
this is the reason why this movie got greenlit, was because of her and the song.
Yeah, it's just it's an anthem. It's meant to
Yeah.
be an anthem. They pull it off.
Yeah.
She's fantastic, and
Yeah.
it's a great scene in the movie too, because
Mm.
they just go around and they go in the other door and go to the
Oh,
party
God.
like you should
Now-
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like,
If
fuck you,
this
dude. I'm
was-
going in.
So if this was a live stage show, would
Mhm.
this have been the end of Act 1?
Yes.
Do you think?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, it's it. I think in the
That's
movie.
what I thought
I think
too.
in the movie structure it was in Act 1.
Weren't they supposed to make a Broadway show out of this?
Yeah, so I was gonna need that later. Yeah, so
Okay.
it was a Broadway and West End show. Has
Right.
been in talks. There was even a sequel in talks as well, and Hugh Jackman had signed on for it. Like, how are they gonna freaking do a sequel? But they were like, let's do a Broadway show and a West End show that's still listed on like a West End and Broadway sites, 2022, 2023 possibly, and
Oh.
it could really work as I think it could really work as a stage show.
I
Absolutely.
do. I think
It's
when
built to be a stage
right?
show.
And they
Don't-
need to start in the UK, honestly.
Well, I think
because
that it's on
I
the
would
UK
agree.
website, the
it
West
needs
End.
to
Yes.
start in the UK, not just because their theater is
Mhm.
also subsidized by the government, so they can
Yeah.
actually afford to do the
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of show that needs to be done. Being honest, like if they get it in the States, I think it would be a mess. I think there's too many chefs in the kitchen, too many producers
Mhm.
with an opinion. I
Yeah.
think if they
And then-
do it in the UK, it's going to get done right, and then it can
And then
move to us.
Jeremy Jordan can do it on Broadway.
Exactly.
Yes.
No, sorry, no. Anyway, but another thing I
Watch.
wanted to
He's
apparently
gonna try. He's gonna. He'll be out there with a curly
yeah.
wig, and he's like, "I'm gonna do it on Broadway."
He'll be like what's her name, Sean Young trying to get Catwoman.
Yeah,
He'll be like all dressed in the
exactly.
character, like come
Go on,
on.
Sally, Jesse Raphael, and like pitch your part.
I mean, good for him. Apologies, Jeremy, for watching. We're just having fun. But
Yes, you're
another
very
thing I want to
talented.
say in that Fox in that little workshop, apparently the story goes, Stacey Snider, the then Fox CEO and chairman, after Kiala sang, walked over to her and said, "Congratulations, you just booked your first major motion picture." Like,
Yes.
oh my God, tears. It's like, oh my God. I mean, that song is just, she just owns that song, and it's like, so good. And it's definitely not Humphrey singing, obviously, as Tom Thumb, that part. And in the album, Kiala sings the whole part, like the "another flash of bullets hits my skin." It's not.
Yeah.
It's usually her. It's
Yeah.
her. Like just the words behind it, the meaning. We are warriors. That's what we become.
Oh yeah, it
Down
just
see
like
march against haters.
I
Always gets me.
I mean it's
like getting teary now. It's
you
like,
know
oh,
when I'm a kids like I Will Survive is like the
yeah, sure.
the karaoke song you do when you're
Yeah.
talking, and this is like, just the lyrics about overcoming adversity, all of that is like, it's great. It's karaoke forever.
And that's why I think a lot of people identified with the song, because I think one of the P's talked about the lyrics where he was like, yeah, I grew up a closeted gay man. And so this, was obviously an inspiration why he wrote that.
Yeah, it was. It reminded me of Jimmy. Did you ever see Sideshow? Did anybody ever see Sideshow?
Did I
of
see
course.
three?
Yeah,
I think 2 or 3
okay.
times. I
Okay.
freaking love that show.
Yes.
Yes.
And this is very much Who Will Love
Music is
Me as
incredible.
I Am. Like
Oh,
that's
Yes.
Yes.
totally reminded me of that. And I
God.
remember I saw that show in preview, the original.
Same.
preview.
I saw the previews. Did we go to? Maybe we did. We.
No, dude, I went with my ex-boyfriend.
But
You
you
that
guys,
one. You know what? I went with your ex-boyfriend too. Weird.
That's
But speaking of Sideshow, and that's why I think, and I apologize if anyone's listening and gets offended, but I think that's why the revival didn't work, is because they had these women singing that song "Who Will Love Me as I Am" in this beautiful mix of like vocals. When the original, where these women were belting at the top of their lungs, screaming, "Who will love me as I am?" Like they're like,
Alice Ripley
like,
and Emily Skinner. My God,
The best.
combination of the two.
The
They even
best.
released like a couple albums together.
Yeah,
They're
I was gonna say.
so-
Remember then they did albums.
Yeah,
they did, like, a series
I
of
have those
albums.
albums. They're
They
Oh, yeah,
did a
incredible.
whole concert tour together.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
There have been a lot
Lewis,
of
Norm Lewis.
musicals
Oh God.
set at the circus, haven't there?
Yes.
I here's what I auditioned for
Yeah.
Sideshow. I got furious. I because they did typecasting. If people don't know, typecast is when you basically walk in, they look at you and go, "Nope, you're not right for it."
Yeah.
Or "Yes, you are," and then they kind of audition you. I got typed out. I had long hair down to my butt. I'm
did.
ethnic, and I
Yeah.
was also, I'm like, and yet you typed in Johnny Oklahoma next to me, but you're typing me out. I was furious. I was so mad. I'm like,
An old
I did not
teacher
get
of
my
mine
freak.
was in it. He was the Lizard Man in the original.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Who was
Yeah,
that?
I got to be
Barry
not like,
Finkel.
oh, Finkel. Yeah, I feel like I met him. I'm not by no means my friends with Norm Lewis, but I met him
Yeah.
many friends in the business. We were at parties together. He used to come to a bar I worked at. But when I saw Norm, I was like, God damn, Norm Lewis, what the hell, dude?
Oh yeah. Oh god, that
Jesus.
was.
So, sorry. So anyway, back again, another film. We're back to Greatest Showman. So we're there. This is the part I hate, where you think a kiss is going to happen between, Jenny and Barnum, and then he rebuffs her, and she just gets pissed and wants revenge, and he's like, "It'll ruin me," which again, not true. In real life, he made $500,000 off her, which today is 15 million.
Yeah.
It's
She
ridiculous.
made probably half of that.
I mean,
So they were fine.
she's
They
such
were
a
fine.
Jenny Lind is such a horrible bitch in this movie. I
Yeah,
mean,
like kisses
she's
him
just-
to
oh
cause
yeah,
a scene.
she fakes
Mhm.
grabs
Yeah.
him and kisses him against his
Yeah.
will. She did not get consent. She is an abuser.
Yeah, it's so like they could that character needs to be rewritten for sure.
Yeah.
So then we get to again another big song which I love. So we have Philip and Anne finally going to go out in public, and again he runs into his jerky parents. So again, you got to it's the 1800s.
Hmm.
Mixed couples were frowned upon, if not
Well, she's
outright,
also lower class.
Yeah,
That's
also
the main
that too.
thing.
Yeah,
She's lower
Yeah.
yeah,
class.
yeah.
I
And
gotta say, pain point for me.
Yeah.
Like you happen to be going out to dinner with your gal,
this is
and
going to
your
be our new thing.
parents
pain point.
happen to be
Yeah,
at the same restaurant, and walking out just in time to chide you and make
yeah.
your date feel like crap.
Right. Okay. Well, Heidi, like you told Kerri, it's a musical.
I know, but that
Yeah,
was
no, I hear
a
you.
little pat for me.
Yeah. Well, it's
That
like
was-
even like during Never Enough, where that's why he lets go of her hand because he looks over and they're looking at him. You're like, oh, okay. But so the parents, of course, are rude to Anne, and she runs off, and he's like, and he actually stands up. Well, after she leaves, he stands up and yells at him, and then goes
Yeah.
back, and we get this amazing scene and song, "Rewrite the Stars." This is a tune, catchy as fuck. They are perfect in this. Like direction,
Yes.
they did most of their stunts, I believe. She did most of her wire work. They worked. They
It's
talked about how they
gorgeous.
they talked
Oh.
about how they bruised and bumped each other for weeks. Trying to learn it and get it down.
This scene,
so
this
well
is my
shot.
favorite scene in the movie.
Oh,
I mean, this is like I could just watch it over and over and over. For me, it's just so perfect. And didn't the director had a background in like second unit or something?
Yeah,
Like-
well, he did. Well, he actually did a lot of animation too.
right. So,
And
but there's
special effects stuff. Yeah.
and special effects because
Yeah.
the way this is shot is so
Mm.
magical.
Mhm.
God.
And like just everything with her swinging on the rope and singing in the shot of
Yeah.
her. I mean, I'm like, how did nobody ever do this before?
Yeah,
It's
just
so
like
Beautiful.
it's like you're saying like earlier with things were lined up with the words. Same thing, like where maybe the world could be ours tonight, and then the rope takes her up. I'm like, oh
yeah.
my
Oh,
god,
just like your heart just goes, oh my God.
Jesus.
Because
So
Perfect
now
timing.
is rewrite the stars? Is that the 11 o'clock number? You know what I mean? Like
Maybe,
if this,
yeah, I think maybe.
Possibly. Yeah. I think,
Maybe.
yeah.
I think they're
Alright.
going to have to expand the second act a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely need a song or two.
Yeah.
maybe
they'll definitely throw it.
another dream ballet.
Maybe
Yeah.
Tom
Open
Thumb will
act
get
too.
maybe Tom Thumb will get a song.
Yeah.
And
Not that we'll get a big number.
yeah. But yeah, just the way like her singing from the ring, him jumping on her in midair,
Oh, I
her
love it.
walking
Love
on
it.
the
Love
air
it.
while singing. Oh my, all I want is to fly with you, and they shoot up together.
Ah.
Beautiful harmonies.
Ah.
Yes.
This song is high because
And
like
sh-
I was like I remember trying to like say I'm like I want to sing this song. I'm like holy fuck that shit gets high as hell.
Yeah.
But,
And
yeah, but
she's
it's really
she's
good.
just incredible. She just looks like I said, star making, just star everything about
They
her.
both, yeah, it's incredible. It's great.
Just like we haven't seen. I mean, Zac Efron has a past, but we haven't seen her. I mean, she did Disney musicals, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow, she's just everything about her is so magnetic
Yeah.
and magical, and she's so tiny. Oh my God, how? And she's like 5'10". She's like just tall. Anyway,
Yeah.
just physically everything. Fall in love. I'm just girl crush. Girl crush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I forget. Yeah, the Tightrope, Michelle Williams song. Again, not it's about her. She's away. She's at home with the girls. He's off on tour with Jenny Lind still. and she sings the song Tightrope, which again, not the best, but the music is sweet, her voice is sweet. I think it fits her. I
Yeah.
liked it. I like it. It's a nice little like I'm at home alone raising the kids. He's off at I'm walking this little tightrope of what should I do with my life? Like that. It's like I think it fits and it's really
I think
nice.
it's a.
Nice little
I think
number.
that song was a great callback, though, or
Hmm.
great continuation of the relationship earlier on the
Hmm.
rooftop. You know,
Yes,
like it
absolutely.
shows,
Yes.
and it shows her character evolving. And
Hmm.
you know, Michelle Williams' character does get. You know, she's a star of
Yeah.
the show, and
Yeah.
she gets her own moment. And she could have so easily just been wifey. You
Yeah.
know, and the fact that she gets her own number to kind of talk about her journey,
Hmm.
I think it's nice. It's
Yeah.
really nice.
For sure. And then we get Jackman after he rebuffs Lynn because I love my wife. Runs back and then right away, like Heidi said, just
Don't you
moves
talk,
along.
Henry Higgins? Don't you talk?
there's no time to rest. It's not. He gets back, girls. What? There's a fire at their circus. So of course he runs off to the fire. Apparently a real fire started while they were shooting that scene, and they had to but they kept the cameras rolling. So I think some of that shooting is part of the real fire. Um, but yeah, they
Which
had to
is
bring
yeah,
in they had
which
to bring in like the fire department to hose it down because they're really part of the set,
and
really for the
you
journey.
you know a funny thing, whenever they showed, they did shoot some of this
Mhm.
actually on location in New York, even though
Yeah.
it's 120 years later. But that scene, every time they showed, and it's pretty fake. I mean, there's a lot of CGI in this
Yeah,
movie. There's
for sure.
CGI animals, which is great.
Oh,
Don't
a lot of them.
abuse
Yeah.
real
I'm so
animals.
glad they did
Yeah.
that so they could put
Same.
Absolutely.
any
And you
real
like, do they look
animals.
fake? Fine. I don't care. It's
Don't
great.
care. Yeah.
Um,
Rather than be fake.
and
Yes.
every time they show that, it reminds me of the meatpacking district, where 8th
Yeah.
Avenue turns on
Oh
14th Street. It looks
yeah.
Oh yeah.
just like it, right?
Yeah.
Except it wasn't. It was downtown on Park
Mhm.
Row is where his
Mhm.
original museum, because he had a museum,
Mhm.
and that's
Yeah.
what burned down. And it is true that after it burned
Yeah.
down, he was like, screw this.
Done.
We're gonna have
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
circus. We're gonna have a circus.
Yeah. But what is great about this scene, again, it's very formulaic, and obviously you've seen it before, but it's like he gets there, and of course Carlisle's running after Anne, comes out the side door, and then Barnum gets there, and this is a great moment though, where he pauses, turns to Charity, she looks at him like, don't. He's like, I'm gonna, and that's such a great moment though. The look of I thought they were so great together, Jackman and Williams. They played off each other so well, and that was a great moment. And him coming out, of course, being the hero, saving Carlisle. And honestly I thought because
Oh, Jimmy,
Oh,
Jimmy Freeze.
that's weird.
His
I have a
turn.
question while we're here.
Wow.
You know how at the beginning at the
I
reporter
think I froze there. Am I
Yeah,
back?
you
Yeah.
You
did.
you
did.
did, you did.
All right. Anyway, my internet connection is unstable.
Hmm.
No, I was just saying how I thought they might kill off Zach's character because he was a fictional character. When I first saw, it, I was like, oh my god, maybe they'll kill.
Oh, they definitely could have gone that
Yeah, I
direction
was
for
like,
sure.
oh man, but they did not because it's a musical and we gotta have some happiness here and you gotta make the
Yeah.
love story work. So yeah. But yeah, it was still sort of a teary moment at the end, even though it was very formulaic. I enjoyed it. So yeah.
Okay.
So we get to the end and then basically the final number in a sense, um, before the reprise. But it's like Barnum's down and out. Charity's left him the picture because Jenny
Oh
Lynn
yeah.
set him up. Picture in the
Everything.
paper of them kissing, even though it was against his will. And he's like, nothing happened. She's like, what
It
do you
was
mean
not
nothing happened?
consensual.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, well, nothing happened. You don't love her. You don't love me. You don't love, stuff, and takes off, goes back to her parents' house. So
Which
he's
is next door, by the way. That's just
yeah,
great.
Right,
exactly,
right.
right down the road. I'm leaving. 3 steps later, bye. And it's like so he goes to the bar where he hangs out at, and all the friends and oddities show up, and they're like, all right, get over yourself. I love it. Like Tom Thumb is like, come on, stop feeling sorry for yourself. And Bearded Lady has a great little speech to him, like, hey, come on, you really helped change us as well. And then we get this other rousing number from now on, and it's like, oh my god, he's so good. Jackman, it's like, Jesus, it's so good when he goes up to the pictures on the wall and turns to them. And what's really great when he runs off and we go back to the chorus singing, like Jesus Christ, they are having a ball. That is so
Yes.
awesome. That choreography is great. And I know she was like just sort of a chorus one, the bright red hair one. That she's pretty like the dancer is sort of front and stage in this scene, but I didn't see her much else. I'm like, she can get it, man. She was. Anyway, I was like, who was that? Where was she the whole movie? But you get this beautiful harmony at the end between Kiala, Yaya, and I'm sorry, I forgot the other actresses. Who the three of them just everyone's drunk and passed out except for the three of them, and they have this beautiful from now on, and it's like, oh, this movie's so good, you're like, it's so beautiful. But yeah, just so great. He reunites a charity and they figure it out, and it's like, oh, okay. And the daughters are cute. She's at the beach. I'm like, oh, little girl, so cute, so cute.
Yeah, and
Um,
it's again great tie-ins, the ballet,
yeah,
everything. I love everything that gets set
yeah,
up, gets tied off here. I mean,
yeah,
I just love it's a good script. It's a
yeah.
really
Yeah.
good script that just,
So many people did not like the story there. A lot of my friends, I was like, they
that's
were like,
Pat.
yeah, I didn't love the story, I love the music, but I didn't like the story.
I
I'm like,
guess I mean, it is Pat. It is Pat and
I
predictable
love it. I
in a
think,
musical way, but it's
yeah,
also like the songs through the
mhm,
song. This is why we love musicals. Why are,
yeah,
I mean, here, as someone who just watches them, unlike you guys who are in them, but why do I love to watch musicals? Because you get to see the drama and emotion acted
mhm,
out, or sung out. It's not it's
yeah,
sung out, it's danced out. And it
yeah,
gives us another way to experience this stuff. And so, yeah, it was a story, little Pat, of course, but that's because
yeah,
it's just putting the glue together so we know why they're
yeah. For
singing,
sure,
right?
exactly.
Am
Yeah,
I
and
wrong?
then and then we get this great, the Greatest Show gets a reprise, and the mantle is hand off, the hat and the
Yes.
cane are passed off to Philip Carlisle, who takes over, and it's great. He has a great little entrance in there as well. And then Kiala gets to just fucking belt it out, like
They're just like,
those
just go,
belts. Like
wail,
just
do
do what you got to
you?
do. We'll
We'll just
keep it
keep
in.
rolling.
It's all good. And she's just like, yeah, just screaming it out. I'm like, yes, so good. Um, but yeah, a very fine musical ending, like on
Mhm.
this great note, which again would really work for stage.
Great core,
Um,
yeah. Oh, the
Yeah.
ensemble.
yeah, ensemble, so good.
Mhm.
And besides, of course, the great soundtrack, I think I mentioned you guys, there was like with Hamilton mixtape, there was a reimagined
Yes.
album that came
Yep.
out, which I play that on repeat as well. It's got freaking Kesha, Kelly
Pink,
Clarkson, Sarah
Pink's
Bareilles,
Pink
Pink,
pink.
singing,
and her little daughter
and her
singing it.
daughter. I
Yes,
cry every time.
yeah,
Every time.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the sweetest thing.
It's so sweet. Pentatonics does Zach Brown
yep.
band. Panic at the Disco. Who knew? I love the Missy Elliott is great,
Yeah,
and
it's an
I
this
haven't
awesome
had a chance to
album.
listen to this, but I'm gonna right
it's
after this. So
real good.
yeah,
It's
It's
real
good.
good.
It's good.
yeah.
Yeah, and we mentioned the sequels possibly happening and the stage show possibly
But
happening. Because
I want to point out, so and this is of interest to me, is that Hugh Jackman like tours. So he did a big tour after this, the man and
yeah,
his music sort of thing.
yep,
And I guess Zach Efron actually guested on it. And of course, they
mhm,
sang a lot, and Kiara also guested on it. They sang a lot of the
Kiala,
songs. Yeah, Kiala, sorry.
mhm,
They sang a lot of songs from this. And
yeah,
so I throw this out to the panel, though. I mean, we know making a musical, even one that's as successful as this,
mhm,
is a big risk in
yeah,
Hollywood now. And if you
yeah,
have, like Hugh Jackman, when he first burst on the scene as Wolverine, those of us who love musicals are like, oh, I hope they let this guy make a musical. And they did.
mhm,
Zach Efron is good at musicals. You know, like like we said again about White Christmas, you have Bing Crosby, super famous, Rosemary Clooney, popular singer. It was so accepted then. Frank Sinatra and On the Town. Musicals were how they do that. And is there a way I mean, how do actors develop to get, or singers develop to get to the space where they can do this again? I mean, are we allowed to have musicals again? Will we
I
ever?
hope.
I mean,
I
we
mean, I hope
better.
we should.
Again, it's a huge moneymaker. I mean, look at
Yeah,
Disney. They're pumping out stuff that are musicals all the time, not always with, they have an entire channel where most of their TV shows are kids singing and dancing.
yeah,
Like, and they become huge pop stars and sell records. So there is huge money in it.
hmm,
So I think it's just about, especially when it comes to, say, actors that you don't know
hmm,
as musical theater performance, like they know that if they get the big part for, say, the big movie, like, say, Chicago or
hmm,
something like that, they're probably guaranteeing themselves awards or award nominations.
yeah,
So it's the big get to get a musical. They can be in all the indie films they want. They can be in all the big blockbusters. But if they want to win that award, they better put on some tap shoes and sell to the top of their lungs.
That's right.
That's just the truth. It's like, and it is always funny to me when people are like, I didn't know they could sing. It's like, well, because they never got to show you.
Yeah.
Like most people that start out in acting are starting out in community theaters and doing musicals.
Yeah.
Like that's where you start as a kid and a teenager and as a young adult before you figure out like what, if you're like, if you decide you want to start, doing say more film or television besides theater because one pays and one doesn't. That's the, you got to figure it out.
Like how many people probably see so many like musical actors that are now like on TV and film and have no idea.
Oh yeah, Law and Order, man, is like Broadway it's off Broadway, right?
My God, look at what I love they do those the CW and some of the superhero shows when they did that musical show. Like almost the entire cast of Flash. Freaking Jesse L. Martin, my God, like Jesus, and then Supergirl, Melissa Benoist, amazing singer, who was on Glee, of course, and absolutely. So it's people like, oh, they can sing. I'm like, yeah, they have their entire life.
It's just so interesting how this has evolved. How the acceptance of people singing on film is and like not accepted. Whereas I said what I loved about this movie was they just started singing. It wasn't like they had to do the musical within the musical, which is a lot of times how they have to frame it now because people don't believe in singing. I don't know. I get maybe it's with TikTok and YouTube, like we don't need it anymore because everybody's out there doing it and 15-second bursts. I don't know. It's very
and maybe
strange.
it will get better now, for people in their brains that when they say they don't like musicals, now that we've been living through, this pandemic where there are no rules anymore. So if you just want to go outside and sing at the top of your lungs and have no like reason why, I think we're all allowed.
But
for sure.
One other curious, as we wrap up musical month, was another curious thing that I keep thinking about is again, Hugh Jackman. Would we? I mean, like I said, he toured, so he definitely did stage shows. But would we buy an album to listen to him? Maybe not. And I don't think he put out albums of him singing the classics, or singing Green Day.
I believe he did a record of his one-man show, which I saw on Broadway, which was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was.
He's a showman.
Yeah, but he doesn't
phenomenal.
But he doesn't just do. Hugh Jackman sings Rodgers and Hart. You know what I'm saying? Like in the past, actors who could sing or thought they could sing, would put out albums all the time, and that's
thought
how
they could sing is definitely the
right. Thought they could sing, like every actor of the 50s and 60s has, and Leonard Nimoy, William Shatner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you put out an album
for people to record. Then now you have an entire system behind. They have to crunch all the numbers. They're not just going to let you record something.
Yeah, there's still
if they can't financially support it, they're not
right.
Going to do it.
Right. It's just, but it's interesting that nobody, won't buy an album of Hugh Jackman singing Jesus Christ Superstar. So I mean,
yes, they will. Yes, they would.
I mean, I'll buy it.
People would absolutely buy it, but it's never going to be the kind of numbers that it's going to go to a top 10 of something. Right. So people are like, if you want to self-fund it, sure.
Yeah.
But there is a market. People buy all of this. Yeah. If you look at all the numbers of like TV shows that are, musical and the movies that are musical, they are the number one. They always go to number one.
I mean, this soundtrack. Yeah.
The Indigo Girls did a recording of Superstar. I own it.
We talked about that. I did too. Yeah. We did Superstar in here, and I talked about that. Yeah. I have it too. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I gotta get it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. You can't get enough Superstar.
I mentioned that on the Superstar cast.
I know.
There's a lot going on. I don't remember all the
stuff. Also,
2021. Like my thought process.
And Heidi was still distracted by she thought those two characters were married.
I thought they were married.
I
was still processing how she ditched Yaya for Zach.
Her husband Yaya.
Right. Yeah, her husband Yaya.
I mean, I don't think any of us would ditch Yaya. Let me tell you what. That dude. We saw Yaya's yo-yo. Anyway, but
it was
in Watchmen. No. So as always, we like to do here, on at least what I like to do here. What if I recast the show, make it a bit more diverse? No cast that's white as the snow, but not a maid, not a monk, not a nurse. Always ethnic, mostly Asian, just like I am on all occasions. So why don't I recast the show, making it much like the world today? All right.
Woo!
Ah,
All right. So let's say this is sort of like the stage for the recasting, because a lot of the casting was pretty perfect. So this is going to be like
And-
maybe the stage version
And
of it.
I want to point out, both Tom Thumb and
Mm-hmm.
Bearded Lady are of mixed race.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, they are. Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Zendaya, of course, too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm gonna do this. Let's say the movie's the movie. We're not remaking the movie. We're doing this for the stage. So let me get a little screen
All right.
share. I need to open that up and do a little. I need to go to advanced.
Now that you have a theme song, you're all.
Mm-hmm.
You got to sing that
All
every
right.
time.
Oh no, that was just I got to change it
No.
to every musical.
You got to sing
We
it
good?
every time.
Okay. Are we shared? Yes, we good.
Mhm.
Okay. So first, let's do Paulo Montalban. Do we remember
yes.
him?
Oh yes.
So nice.
This is him in Mamma Mia. He was, of course, in one of the very first.
Don't let it run too long.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
So sorry, that's right. So he, of course, what we know, and actually kind of a very diverse casting back in the day in Cinderella, the movie.
That's
Where
right.
he was the prince, but he's a established theater actor, great
Yeah.
voice. He could be Barnum, I think, for sure. And then having young Barnum. Have you ever seen these kids, these little Filipino boys, the TNT boys? Any one of them. Any one of them can be young Barnum.
Adorable.
They're incredible. Yeah, I know.
That's
Yeah,
adorable.
yeah, they're all they're incredible. Like they've been on a bunch of like variety shows all over. Even in that one they did it, James Corden hosted like the world variety thing. I think they're all like 13, 14 now, but they started out when they were like 10, and they have insane voices. And for Charity Barnum, let's go back to Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah.
Really? Really?
You're singing a little sweet Christmas song. She can sing. I love her.
Yeah.
She's actually a really good dancer too, so she can actually dance the scenes. You know, her and Paulo both could dance the scenes. I love Miss Vanessa. Of course, Filipino. Paulo, of
Isn't
course,
she going to
too.
be in the new In the Heights movie coming out?
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yeah, she is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She was in The Rent. You know, she was in The Rent as
She
well.
was in the Grease Live. That was
Yeah,
fun.
she was. Yeah, she's great.
Oh yeah,
She's
she was
awesome.
great.
And then of course I'm gonna dip into K-pop as well. So going into
You?
me, how dare you? For Zac Efron's character, Philip Carlisle. He's actually American, grew up in Atlanta, but then moved to Korea and sort of backed into K-pop, became pretty big over there. Eric Nam, he's
A hotel. There's just some things that never change. You say we're just friends, but friends don't know the way you taste. La la la.
yeah, good
Great.
looking dude, great
'Cause you know
voice.
it's been a long time.
Great voice.
He needs to like beef up a little bit. He needs to put some muscle on.
You need to settle down, all right?
Okay.
Not all of us
I
Asians
agree.
keep up like that, okay?
Get into CrossFit.
we will cast him and he'll have time, all right? And to work it out. And then also interesting, what I decided to choose was one of my favorite groups in K-pop is called Mamamoo. They're probably the best vocal group in K-pop. They all can sing, and their leader and main vocalist is Youngsun Kim Youngsun, also known as Solar. So she also has taken up pole dancing. So she could do this. She could do a little all the. I think she would pick up that all the rope work pretty well.
Wow.
But my girl can sing. This is the whole group, but this is her part in one of their ballads I love called "I Miss You." Not to her.
별이 뜨는 밤이면 언제나 so much
I love her so much.
소리 없이 눈물이 흐르면
right.
Yeah, I love her so much.
I'm
Mamamoo's
yelling at Jimmy because
No,
we
10 seconds.
get
I'm watching 10
banned.
seconds.
All right, okay. As long as you have the timings down, we don't
yeah, I'm
want
looking at-
Google to
yeah.
get mad at us.
I know, right? So, and then as Rebecca Ferguson, of course, didn't sing. Did Lauren Allred sing it? Playing Jenny Lind. I've played her before, but I sort of played her sweetness. She's an amazing belter. She's Asia's Phoenix, Filipino, Morissette on. Here she is singing
Ooh.
Never Enough.
Ah,
Towers of gold are still too little. These hands get hard for words, and it'll never be enough. Never be enough for me.
Yeah, play 10 seconds at a time. You're okay. So
Woo!
she
woo.
Rap
at the
control.
end, she
Sitting.
like just sitting down,
How dare
Sitting.
she?
takes it up. Like,
Wow.
sitting down.
Ooh, I like it.
Sitting down.
Great.
It's impressive.
She's amazing. More like I'm
Incredible.
telling you, look up more on. She's incredible. And I've used her before in this, but in Kia, it's tough to to have anybody sing the Bearded Lady, but the Beyonce of Korea. I've used her before. She was our Simon Zealots and Superstar. Ailey. Insane. I also another Korean American, grew up in America, but here's her singing a little Let It Go. She goes up there.
I love that she's grabbing that mic like she's singing.
Yeah. That girl can sing. Let me tell you what.
Jimmy's finding a fertile field of K-pop. I
Yeah.
mean, you will never not be able to cast these musicals.
Oh,
You
not at
know,
all.
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's why we need more musicals.
That's right.
We need
So,
more.
but a couple more real quick casting. And as the bartender, why not me? Because I've bartended and I also, can dance.
Yes,
a little. There we go.
finally a role for Jimmy.
For me, I'll be the bartender, and then directing.
Yeah.
I would love to see Ang Lee bring
Mhm.
his vision to something like
Okay.
this. Bring it a little there. So there we go.
He likes the circus.
Brava.
Yeah, that's right. Right on.
I like it.
Aaron and Kerri, I guess you guys could maybe do a little something. I don't know somewhere.
I'll just take like the third hooker from the right. I'll take
I want to be the freak,
I
the woman
mean-
at the beginning that gives him the apple. That's
There it is. Yeah.
that'll be
I
good.
mean, why not? Oh, there was and in the chorus, I do want to I do have one thing. Let me find this real quick. There's this talented, amazingly talented four sisters from the Philippines, and they are incredible, called Fourth Impact, and this is them singing Never Enough together.
Shine of a thousand spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky. We'll never be there.
Every single one of them is incredible. So they can be in the chorus. They can be. We can give them roles throughout.
I'm a little angry how flawlessly they're all able to sing. It's
Sitting
not an
down.
easy song. It's
Yeah.
a very
Right.
difficult song. I'm a big
Yeah.
belter. It is.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of breath control, and
Yeah.
they're just like it's just flowing
Just
out of
singing.
them like it's
They're
nothing.
just hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
send you the links to that to watch, and also more sets. And then what's interesting about Fourth Impact is like they did some competition shows in Asia, but they sort of got big because they went to England and did, was it X Factor or Britain's Got Talent, 2015, and didn't win. They eventually got cut, but they became so big because like their audition has got like 50 million views of them singing, I think, Bang Bang, and like just
Ah.
watching like Simon Cowell and them going, where do those voices come from? Because they're each like, of course, 5'2", these tiny little girls, and amazing. But yeah, they're awesome. All righty, guys. Super fun as always.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we
Way to wrap out musicals month.
Yeah, and Erin, thank you so much for being our
Oh.
co-host for
Yeah.
this month.
Again, this has been an absolute joy.
Awesome.
I
Good.
mean, getting once a week to just talk and dish about movie musicals, this should be a full-time job. I wish it was.
Okay, so we might as well announce that Erin and I are starting a musicals podcast.
I
Coming
wish,
soon.
Jimmy. I wish.
Each
Yeah.
week we're going to sing a song as well. And by we, I mean her. And I'll just maybe
me.
try to harmonize a little. If I
Well,
can.
I'll tell you, a lot of people when, that I've talked to and, said I'm doing musicals are all like, well, you got to do, like Trish, who was on last week. She was like, you got to do the bandwagon, or
Yeah.
what about this
Oh,
movie?
there's so many.
Oh, I mean,
Oh.
we literally could do a weekly podcast
I mean,
about just
even
musicals.
this movie reminds me of one of my favorite movies about the circus, Jumbo, Billy Rose's Jumbo, starring the glorious Doris Day
Don't know. I
and
haven't seen
Jimmy
it.
Durante and Martha Ray. And it is, again, I'm watching this movie and I'm like, oh, there's so many scenes that made me think of that movie as well, that movie musical.
You know what I started? I was good in the very initial lockdown when I thought about doing, but again, I there's always someone can do it better because I'm just not technically sound to do it. I was gonna do one. Now I'm giving it out, so someone take it. It's my idea. 1 minute musicals, where I was gonna sing just parts of the score of a musical just throughout,
Hey,
but a
Jimmy.
cappella. But then someone else would take it and do it with the music, I'm sure, and do it much better.
Jimmy, that's called TikTok.
I was gonna say, right? It's
Well, that's
TikTok.
about 1 minute, where each was
That's
1 minute long.
Called
TikTok.
TikTok is 15 seconds.
No, it's not. It's
No.
you can do a
Isn't it?
minute.
Really?
Yeah.
See, that's how much I don't TikTok.
Well, you
I'm
need to
gonna
start.
send you some TikTok links.
You know
'cause
what,
You're gonna
Jimmy,
just go down the
you
rabbit hole.
Must
Never come out.
TikTok.
I turn
TikTok.
it on occasion because my cousin was trying to turn it because they do it a lot, and so I think I follow 10 people on it. I'm like, so I'll turn on occasion. I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm done. I don't really need it. It's like, like once you fall down the well of just like
Oh, it's my
different songs,
obsession
whatever.
now.
Boy,
I'm
you know,
angry.
maybe he shouldn't do TikTok.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
waste a lot of time, but there's a lot of good content. It's very fun, very funny.
Yeah, I usually catch the big ones. They'll appear on YouTube later at some point. So I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, so that's from TikTok. Okay, fine. Yeah, I give TikTok another, I don't know, few months till it gets bought out by
Yeah.
Right.
just like
Yeah, like, I'm
Vine.
not-
Vine got
yeah.
bought out and died, and like that. So who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, who knows?
Oh, well, and Kerri, just want to thank you as well
Yes.
for joining us a couple times, and talking about this, and learning so much from all of you. Really, like I said, I'm I've had my musical performing career, but as a solo artist, cabaret singer, not and left it behind long ago. And just learning from you guys, I've learned so much. It's really been just a blast.
It's just
And-
super
You
fun
are
to chat.
So
Yeah.
welcome. This was super fun for me, and I'll now leave when you guys leave the room and not get stuck here.
No, you can stay because next month we're doing sort of like unappreciated, forgotten comic book movies.
Yes, we are returning to our title, Comic
Yes.
Beat Insider. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
there have been so many comic book movies, and some of them have been misunderstood or not as successful or little known. And
Mhm.
Jimmy and I have both got a couple favorites that
Yeah.
we want to bring back to you.
That's
So
right.
stay tuned.
So
And
come
don't
on
forget
back.
to subscribe, hit notifications, do all the things you must do for YouTube
Mhm.
and for Jimmy's podcast.
Yeah, from our podcast, get a little subscribe on iTunes and Spotify, etc., wherever you get your podcast love, for sure. But thanks again. We're wrapping up Musicals Month. Thanks again for everybody listening and watching. If you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see us do, let us know. And we will probably ignore them and do whatever we want. And just how it rolls. No, we'll see. We'll see if we can get into it. But thanks once again, everybody. I am Jimmy Aquino with Comic News Insider, the weekly podcast covering TV, comics, film, pop culture, etc. at comicnewsinsider.com. You can find me all over the socials at Jimmy Aquino, JIMMYAQUINO.
And I'm Heidi McDonald of The Beat at comicsbeat.com. And you can find me on all social media at ComicsAce, COMIXACE.
And Erin Crosby on Twitter. I'm at Erin Crosby Sings, and on Instagram, I'm at Erin Crosby Makes for all your food, flower, and dog content.
I'm Kerri Garbis. I'm Jimmy Aquino's first wife, and if you need to find me, just ping him.
It's true. Anyway, but thank you everybody again. We appreciate it, and let us know what your favorite movie musical was.
Yes, and keep on singing.
That's right, guys. Yeah, because this is a
Never
great
enough.
podcast. Okay.